gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
Yeah. Once again, my name is Omobola Stephen, and welcome to Live Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. On today's show, I have a guest with me who will be discussing about marriage, relationships, and family issues. She's Stephen Mintz, MALMFT. Stephen is the licensed marriage and family therapist. Her unique strategies have had incredible success in helping clients enhance their hope and also laughter and intimacy, allowing them to have and to enjoy their partner and get excited about building their future together. Welcome with me on Live Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Stephen Mintz.
Hi, thank you. It's nice to see you and to meet your audience through Zoom.
Thank you so much, Stephen Mintz. It's a pleasure having you on this show today. So I wanted to meet you more properly, and also I wanted to get to know what you do.
So I actually later in life, I went back to school to become a therapist and found my path later in life. You never know when you're going to find your passion.
That's right.
I became very passionate about what I do, and I very quickly fell in love with working with couples and people in relationships. And once I got licensed, I opened up my own practice and started getting to be known for working with couples and helping my couples find their success in their relationships, creating that relationship that they've always wanted. And in the process, I started designing strategies and concepts that really resonated with my clients and actually implemented change. And I've become very passionate about helping my clients with their relationships and have now started consulting with my strategies and concepts.
Right. Thank you so much for that introduction. So I want you to tell me about the COVID relationship rejuvenation.
So right now with COVID, we are stuck at home and often in our small four walls, staring at four walls with somebody else. And nobody in the ever life of time, years and years and hundreds of years, has ever spent 24/7 with somebody. Nobody knows how to do this. And right now, people are really struggling in relationships. A lot of divorces are happening because everybody's getting frustrated. There's not a lot of space. People are trying to work. There's kids. And you keep seeing the person, you never get to experience life on your own. So people are getting all of the little things that bothered them before are becoming big things. And communication is really, really lacking. Oftentimes it's not as strong as it could be to begin with, and now it's out the window. So I'm helping clients connect, reconnect, find enjoyment and joy in their relationship again, especially right now when it's sometimes too much time with your partner.
Right. So what's the suggestion for too much avoidance and stickiness in relationships? Because I think they could be extremes.
Yes. So stickiness and avoidance, you mean too much time together and too little time together? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, too much time together and too much detachment together. You're trying to avoid too much, overly avoiding and overly detaching, like stickiness. So there are two extremes. Yeah, there are two extremes. So what are your suggestions on that?
Okay, so both extremes, which typically extremes don't work, they're actually going to cause more problems in the relationship. So really, ultimately, the biggest thing is communication and being able to communicate, even if you don't want to, even if you're too tired, even if you think it's going to cause an argument, we need to communicate. We need to communicate how we're feeling, what we're thinking. But the key is going to be the strategy of how to communicate and when to communicate. That's going to make all the difference in the world. And here's the thing, we're not born with communication genetically. It's not a genetics. it's actually a skill. So the good news is you can strengthen that skill. And that is something that I do. So instead of avoiding conversations, we really need to make sure we have them. And instead of always talking, sometimes we need to take a break from talking and we need to find ways to enjoy each other again. It can't always be the difficult talk. It sometimes needs to be enjoyment, because we lose that. Why are you with this partner to begin with?
All right. So like working out, just I'm trying to buttress what you said. One lady says, my husband has decided to shut down completely. No romance, no productive conversation. So how can she get a man to talk?
So basically what you want to do is you want to set aside a time to be able to talk.
Yeah.
And you want to let the person know that you're okay with hearing what they say, that you want to know what they're saying, and that you're open to it, and that you're going to listen while they talk, that you're not going to interrupt them, that you're not going to invalidate what they're feeling, that you want to have a discussion. Oftentimes people get shut down because they're afraid of what might happen if they share. Excuse me. If they share, they're afraid that they're going to get into an argument, or the person's going to get defensive, or they're going to say you're wrong. So you want to let the person know, not in the midst of an argument, but at a nice, calm time when things are good. I just want you to know you can share with me. There's a lot going on. I know you're having feelings and thoughts. I actually want to hear them. I'm just going to listen at first. I'm not going to interrupt. And we don't want to interrupt because that gets frustrating. I'm going to try not to get defensive. I'm going to validate what you're feeling because I know that's really what's going on with you. And I just want to have a discussion. A lot of people talk about not wanting to confront somebody or arguments. I call them conversations and discussions because that's setting up the mindset for it being positive. And so you really just want to let the person know, I am here. You don't have to keep it inside. And if you just want to vent, so here's another one. You want to let the person know, before you share with me, I want to know it because I want to be there for you. Do you want me to give advice and help you problem solve? Or do you just want to share feelings and vent? And you just want me to be empathetic listening? And if you tell me ahead of time, then I can know how to help you. Because I don't want to offer advice if you're not looking for it, because that can cause a whole nother problem. So if you practice the conversation and you do this conversation at a calm time, then you can actually, when things come up, you know the expectation of the conversation.
Right. Nice. Well, thank you so much for that brilliant explanation. So I know how important sex is to a relationship. I mean, to a healthy relationship. So what is the sudden sexual turn-offs, in a particular season in a relationship, so marriage, which often happens. So does it signal a danger in the relationship?
If the physical intimacy is decreasing, is that what you're asking?
That's right. Like, we're talking about sex here.
Okay, let's talk about sex. So here's the thing. The truth of the matter is, after that honeymoon phase, when we first meet somebody, we're going to lose the newness. But we need to keep it fresh and we need to keep it interesting. I'm not saying go wild unless you want to, but we need to put the effort in. We can often get into routines and we can go through lulls in our relationships and marriages. Once we recognize there's a lull, then we want to actually actively work on it, which means either having a conversation or actively putting into action something. But here's the thing. If you're not communicating, that means you're not connecting. And we need to feel connected in order for there to be the physical intimacy. That's really the connected physical intimacy. We all have needs. So sometimes it's fulfilling a need, But there are other times when it comes to sex that we're looking for a connection with our partner. But if we're not feeling emotionally connected, because we're not connecting by communicating and bonding over deeper things and enjoying during maybe the day and going in, and even if it's not outside, doing enjoyable things inside, then we're not necessarily going to feel that connection and that desire for the physical intimacy unless it's more for a physical need. So we need the communication. Communication is at the core of almost everything in a relationship. So if we don't have that, we're not going to want to feel connected with our partner. So we need to pay attention to the pattern. And if we recognize it's decreasing, we either need to focus on it more and be active about change, but we also need to check in with our communication and see, are we actually connected, deeply connected at other times? So then we're going to be excited and want to connect and have sex.
Right. Now, I'm beginning to see that you're a communication expert. Now, what if communication is strained in the relationship? Does it also signal a red flag?
No, that's the good news. So that's where it's a red flag in terms of something needs to change. But it doesn't necessarily mean that it's causing the relationship to be over. So like I had mentioned, actually, it's a skill, so it can be strengthened. And that's actually one of my areas of strength of helping my couples. I have lots of strategies and concepts to understand it as to how to strengthen. Pardon me?
Tell me about the strategies, one or two of them.
Okay, sure. So one of them is what I mentioned before. And so it's a strategy I call a sounding board and empathy versus advice. And so that's an important communication. That's what I mentioned. Before you have a conversation, you want to ask for what you need. You want to ask for what you're wanting from your partner. Because what happens if you share a story and you're just trying to tell them a funny story, but in that story, you present that there was a problem. Patty at work did this, and oh my gosh, now we have to figure this out. But you're just talking about Patty being silly. But your partner might hear problem, and they go, well, did you try this? Well, how about this? And you go, no, I don't fix it. I just listen to Patty's story. And we get frustrated. And if we don't tell the person what we're looking for, they have to guess. Sometimes they guess right, but sometimes they guess wrong. And then it can be an argument. So if we tell the person what we want, they have a better chance of giving it to us. If you're with your partner, hopefully you love them and you want to make them happy and you want to be supportive. But sometimes we don't know how to be supportive in the way the person wants. We're just guessing. And what I say is no guessing, no assuming. Take those out of the relationship. Ask as much as you can and share as much as you can so the person can give it to you because they want to.
Right.
So that's no guessing, no assuming. That's part of the communication. Then another strategy is the sounding board and empathy versus advice and asking for what you're looking for. So those are a couple of ways that we make sure we're on the same page. The other key is about how and when you communicate. And there are strategies for that are a bit more involved that I'm happy to share if anybody's looking for consulting and wanting to talk to me about one of my programs, because there are very keys about when those are going to be the most successful communication.
Right. Thank you so much. It's been Omobola Stephen, and I have a guest with me on the show. He's been doing justice to the topic on marriages, relationships, and family issues. She's Stephen Mintz. Now, Stephen Mintz is a licensed marriage and family therapist. She's also have a unique strategies that have had incredible success in helping clients enhance the hope, laughter, and intimacy, allowing them to have and to enjoy the partner and to get excited about building the future together. Wow, that's very, very fascinating and interesting for me. And so let's move on to temperaments, because I know that you also have professional expertise in temperament. So I want to talk about short-term partners here. And so basically, I know that most cholerics they are short-tempered. I am a recovering choleric. Yeah, but with the help of the Holy Spirit and with life experiences, I've been able to, manage my emotions, to the barest minimum so that I can attract other relationships, and also to have a whole, worthwhile life. And so I wanted to ask, what if this kind of temperament is living with a melancholist? Can they thrive?
So we can work with, look, we all get angry, we all get frustrated. And when those feelings come up, it's very difficult to communicate. Okay. And again, sorry, but communication is always in there. And when we are angry and when we're frustrated, we are trying to communicate, but we're also probably not being very clear about what we're trying to communicate.
Absolutely.
So, and what happens is sometimes somebody's like, well, tell me what you're upset about. But when we get so upset, we can't speak and explain ourselves in the best way. And we say, no, I can't talk right now. I go away. Leave me alone. I want to go do something else. And the person goes, no, tell me what's wrong, because they want to be there. But in that state, when we have a lot of high negative emotions, there is not much productive communication that's going to be happening. So we do need to take some time to bring our emotions back down. Right. Now, there is, believe it or not, a strategy to help with that, so that you can come back and have a conversation. But if you don't take that break in the most productive way, it can actually create more of an argument. So again, every nuance of communication, frustration, wanting help, how to connect or reconnect with somebody, at the very core is how you're communicating and how you're working with your partner. And so some of this, or a lot of this, is you want to talk about all of these things when you're not arguing. You want to talk about it when you're sitting on the couch and you're enjoying each other, which is, people don't want to talk about things then, but you want to create a plan and an expectation. So when you do get short-tempered, or you do get frustrated, or the person's trying to solve a problem you don't want them to solve, you already know how to handle that situation, and you're both on the same page.
Right.
So that's going to be key. But at the core is all this communication. How can I get what I need? How can they get what they need? How can we make them match, or how can we compromise? But how do we do that in a loving, respectful way? Right. So if we're going to be short-tempered and we're going to snap at somebody, we're not really being very respectful. And respect is a very important part in a relationship and marriage.
Right. Thank you so much for that. So now let's talk a bit about the man. Because I know that could be very emotional too. It's just that they don't, they don't show off their emotions. But I know that men are very emotional too in some instances, or most oftentimes they do, but they hide it. Now, how can a man manage his family, his career, his business? So I think we need to focus on man too, because it's been the woman stuff. How can the woman, juggle between career, family, and stuff like that? So how about the man? Because I've had a man in my life who tells me that, when I'm with my family, I act like a family man. But when I'm out on the field, I act like a businessman. And so sometimes it's always like, I can't really figure out your personality here. So how can you juxtapose that?
Well, the truth of the matter is we do have certain different ways of being in different situations. If we're meeting the Queen of England, we're going to act a certain way, right? We're not going to be, hey, want to grab a beer? You want to go see a movie? We're not going to do that. Versus if you're hanging out with your kids, you're going to be sitting on the ground and you're going to be playing. So there are different situations and scenarios where we're going to behave different ways. It doesn't mean that we're not being authentic. It just means that we have to be with the audience and be that way that's appropriate. So that man that you're talking about, or example of a man, it's not that he's different people. It's just he's finding what is necessary in those situations. Right. He can relax and be his fun, casual self with the family. But when he's doing business, he needs to find the best way to be productive in business. Right. So it doesn't mean we're not the same person, but what piece comes out the most in different situations. Right. So some of it is recognizing that. But I also think that communicating with the man to say, I know there's a lot going on in your life. I want you to know that you can share all the different aspects of what's happening, that your business life, you don't have to keep separate. You can actually share that with me. And I'm open to hearing that. I want you to feel that here with me, you can show all the different aspects. I know out there, maybe you won't be showing certain aspects of who you are because it's not appropriate and it's not going to get business done. But when you're home, please feel free to show all of you.
Right. So that's balancing.
It is. It's balancing, but it's also being very clever to know who's your audience. What is going to be the best with your audience? Who are you speaking to and who are you in front of? Because, we have different even friends. We have a friend who maybe we go out to get drinks with, but maybe that friend doesn't understand if you have kids because she's dating. You might not talk about your family life with this friend because they're not going to understand. But you have a friend who also has a family. You can talk to them about family things, but they don't have time to go out to happy hour. So you're with different people in different ways. Doesn't mean you're not being authentic.
Right. Thank you so much for that exposure. So I wanted to ask, do you have any projects that you're working on presently?
So right now, I'm actually building up my the program. So I offer programs to my couples for individual personalized strategy programs for the relationships. But I'm also working on putting together some group programs so that different couples can be able to talk with each other outside of the sessions. So that they can talk about, well, what was that strategy like for you? Were you able to try that? What was good? What was difficult? So I'm actually working on putting together some group programs as well.
Brilliant. Wish you all the best of luck. Wish you best of luck.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And thank you for having me here.
Yeah. I wanted to ask, thank you so much. You have anything to say?
Yes, I just wanted to let your audience know that if you have any questions or thoughts about what I talked about today, or want to find out more about your, setting up a personalized strategy program, that you can take a look at my website, strategicrelationshipconsulting.com. And you can also find me on the different social media as well, Instagram, Facebook, those types of things. Or you can feel free to just email me directly at stephanie@strategicrelationshipconsulting.com. And I'd be happy to talk to you about the podcast today, or if you have any other questions for me.
Right. Thank you. So do you have any more?
Thank you. I love it. I love working with my clients.
All right, that's great. Do you have any parting word?
I do. Please communicate with each other. Find what works so that you can get on the same page, and reach out to me, because I do want to help you have hope, laughter, and intimacy, because those are all important things. We have to have fun. We have to look towards our future, and we want to feel really connected with our partner. So I'm here to help.
Thank you so much. Thank you once again, Stephanie Mintz, for coming to the show. So I hope that some other time we can do this again.
I would love to. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been well with Omobola Stephen. Till I come your way some other time, I need to stay safe always. And remember to live life, live it fully. Bye for now.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. It's an engaging and enlightening talk show on life, relationships, and the business of life. Grab a cup of juice and just chill. Life Well Lived by Omobola Stephen. Live life. Live fully.
like your style. Did your friends just